hands, jazz hands.
Jazz hands. Hello, everybody. Welcome to If These Walls Could Talk. I'm Wendy Stuart.
And I'm Tim Moss. Hi.
We're so happy to be here with you today. What a gorgeous day, honey.
Oh my God, it's incredible. This is my favorite weather ever.
Indian summer.
When it's like 80 degrees during the day, low 80s, and then like in the 60s at night, leave the window open. Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely. Well, my God, what a week it was. We had those torrential downpours.
I missed it.
You're right, because Tim was in
Baltimore.
Baltimore. Tell us about what you were doing in Baltimore.
We took 50 Shades of Gay down there, and just had a ball. We had a great time.
You had a little crab cake while you were there?
My God, we ate all the way through Baltimore this trip. Yeah, there's a wonderful place down across from the convention center and like where the Orioles played, because we walked over to the park and didn't realize, because I was like, oh, is there a game tonight? Talking to the guards outside, and they were like, yeah, this is for the championship or the American League.
You thought they were there for you. I thought the crowds were.
And I'm like, oh yeah, is there a game or something? They're like, yeah, and they ended up winning. So it was so cool that we were there that night and happened to stop by but right across from there is a place called Luna del Saya. And oh my God, I've had several people in Baltimore tell me they have the best crab cakes in the city, and I agree.
Did you bring any back?
No, I couldn't make it all the way back. Oh my God,
they freeze. I know.
They're amazing.
Totally amazing.
Yeah, but we ate all over that town.
Well, you missed, of course. We had like this flash flood craziness last Friday. I have to just tell you this story. It has something to do with me, but I love that the sea lion in the sea lion pen in Central Park got out.
Oh yeah, she swam away.
It's all over the news. She swam out through Central Park. I'm sorry, I find that really funny. She did turn around and swim her way back in, but you know what? Good. That's a lot of water there.
She got out and stretched her fins a little bit.
That's a lot of water. Well, my God.
And we've got the Glam Awards.
We've got the Glam Awards.
Well, they're doing the nominations now, so please, everybody, if you can vote on the Glam Awards,
please.
We would appreciate your
please vote for our show.
If These Walls Could Talk.
Right. And then Tim has got a whole separate, you'll see him on there. He's running for a lot of categories. Icavelli also.
Yeah.
As you know, those are all our people. We all support each other. So please support us and vote for us. You have to be in New York nightlife. That's the only rule.
Yeah.
And you need to get a code. You have to email Cherry Jubilee.
And she will give you your code.
We need to have Cherry. You remind me
Cherry, we gotta have Cherry
Jubilee
on
the show. This Thursday night, talk about supporting your friends. I'm going to see Evan Lawrence in Twisted at Theater for the New City. And Tim's now going to go, directed by the wonderful director Joe Bautista, who I love and adore. And then after, I am running over to Pangea. My God, I need my roller skates that night. I'm coming to Pangea to see the one and only Jackson Sturkey.
I'm really going to try to join you for that, but we'll see.
Right. No, I know. Tim is like kind of not a double header unless like you can come, show a little face,
and then leave.
Move on to the next thing. This Saturday in Milford, Pennsylvania, I do a huge gender bender fashion show, for lack of a better word, with vintage clothing. It will be at the Phoenix at 3:00 in the afternoon. I have fabulous models. As I say, they come from all walks of life, every gender, every shape, every size,
even a couple genders you didn't even think
genders you would never know. That's right. You know, they come with it, we discover them. Well, I have a knack for discovering people.
Yes, she does.
Like that in my real life. And up and coming, it's never too early to push this, October 28th in Milford, in Milford. It's to benefit Triversity in Milford, Pennsylvania. But we will be doing 50 Shades of Gay at the fabulous Camp Reimagine. It's an entire weekend. Our show will be Saturday night. Should you want to we're the featured guest, and
you can come for the weekend or just come for Saturday.
Whatever. But you know what? Just please come. Okay. Woo! Is that a mouthful? Was that everything?
You said "come" and a mouthful in the same sentence, and wasn't even dirty.
Oh my God! But that was a lot.
I was very proud of you.
You know what? I should be Speaker of the House. They're looking for somebody. I mean, you know what? I'm right here.
The job's open.
The job is, I know, and it's a thankless job. Okay, but enough about all of that. Very excited about today's guest. downtown performance royalty.
Yes.
Is all I can say about our upcoming guest. Has a show coming here to Pangea, October 14th and October 27th. Oh, good. We read it. October 13th and the 27th. It's called Enough of the Blues. And this person will be starring in it with, of course, the fabulous Louisa Bradshaw, who can't be here with us today, but we're giving her a shout out. I'm very excited that this show has 2 dates here at Pangea. Please try and make one of them. The last time they were here in March, here is the quote: "They blew the roof off of Pangea." So put your hands together for Don Arrington. Yay. Come on down.
Hello.
Well, you know what? We're like kind of coordinated today. This is really pretty cool. Like the black and the blue, and like
nice.
you're right, because this is what you wear when it's like October and it's 100 degrees. Well, it's not.
And this is what you wear when it's 80.
Right.
That's right.
We're all
exactly. So
how are you, Don?
Well, I'm excellent. I'm
Good.
excellent. I'm glad to be here.
So great to have you
Love
here.
your show.
I have to say thank you for loving our show. And Don's a relatively new friend for B, because an interesting thing happened to me with the pandemic. So many new people came in on a wave. You were one of them. We connected through Facebook, and shout out to Penny Arcade. She was doing this live stream from home and from her house, and people would come in and comment, and we comment to each other, and all of a sudden there were all of these people. It was a
community.
We became right. Yeah. Anyone who tells you that you can't build community off of Facebook is a liar, pants on fire. And I knew the pandemic would pass to the degree that it did, and that the show that we developed would be able to have people come live. And here we go. You know, we're no longer streaming. We are live.
Yes, we are alive.
And we're alive. Oh my God, Don, don't we like pinch ourselves and say that like we're alive?
I know.
You must do a lot of pinching.
Well, I do, especially these days.
Right.
You know, I'm in my 80th year here, so you know,
goodness.
I thank you. I don't know why, but here I am.
So, are you going to have a big party for your 80th?
What's the party story?
I'm hoping that I'll have a big surprise party. I've asked for it.
You're kind of like me. Yeah. I kind of do that, and then I control the whole thing. I'm walking in faint surprises, but you know what? There's something to be said. First of all, you have been an artist from way back when. You were like a child baby model for American Airlines.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was a one day shoot, but we got into the Washington Star and the Washington Post.
Oh, this was print.
It was print. Yeah,
be a little baby.
My
baby Tom.
Father was in the Coast Guard, and he was stationed in Ketchikan.
Oh my! You got to be kidding! I was just there.
Yeah, I know you were.
Oh my God, it's so gorgeous.
I want to go back because
you don't remember it.
I remember little snatches of this and that and the other thing. But anyhow, so my mother and I went out to join him. So we flew on American Airlines.
Oh my goodness!
And they just had instituted infant care.
Oh wow!
So they had a picture of my mother with me in her arms.
Oh my goodness!
On the runway up to the up to the plane, and so yeah, it was that was my early.
Moment.
That was your intro to entertainment.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, but you had me at infant care, because now it's infants we don't care.
Right.
Or passengers we care even less for.
Oh really?
Those were the luxury.
My seat. Oh yeah.
Yeah. The luxury days of life.
I was just talking about that earlier today, about how on flights it used to be a rare occurrence. Like it was so, and now they pack everybody in like it's a city bus.
Horrible. It's like it changed so much. So that was like your first entree into entertainment. So cool. But like growing up, you were.
Oh, well, I started singing for my family and that sort of thing. And
really?
I had very supportive grandparents. They really supported me a lot. And in school, it was, in elementary school already, I started with this and that and the other thing. And in my early teens, I was on a thing called Uncle Brooks' birthday party a couple of times.
Oh, Uncle Brooks.
I sang "Catch a Falling Star."
Oh, I love
It
it.
was Perry Como.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
Catch a
Perry
falling star and put it in your pocket. Save it for a rainy day. And
God, we're having a sing along on the show. I love it.
and then I went back and I sang Tammy.
Oh,
Tammy,
Tammy,
Tammy's in love. Yes, yes.
This is great. We never have a sing along on the show. I just sing tunes the rest of the.
And
So-
but in high school, I did all of the leads and this and that and the other
But
thing.
you said something. Your grandparents were very supportive. But what
Yes.
about your parents? Because Dad was in the Coast Guard.
Yeah, my father didn't get it till much later.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, he got it.
I mean, right before he passed away, we shared a lovely evening.
Nice.
When I was
Right.
Nice.
like at the end of my 20s, just the beginning of my 30s, and he told me he was proud of me.
Oh,
But otherwise,
nice.
there
Nice.
was a point. My piano teacher, who was right up the street, that my grandparents paid for vocal lessons
How
and my piano lessons. But she offered to
nice.
get a piano for me,
Wow.
which was like $25 this piano, and it would have moved into my house. And my father said no, it would disrupt his sleep. He was on 4 to 8, 8 to 12,
Shift.
Yeah,
and
right.
he just didn't get it. And
Right. Mhm.
my mother, though, was whatever she could do.
Oh,
She was
that'd be
always
great.
there, always there for all the things that.
Were you the only musical kid in the family?
Yeah.
You got
Yeah,
How
my,
did-
my
how many-
brother's a carpenter. He builds houses and
Uh-huh.
things. He
Very
still
cool.
does. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, it really, really interesting. But look at you. You had 3 people supporting you, and
I'm very lucky.
you performed through high school.
I did, and then
And in those days, what was it like being an out there performer in high school in Virginia? Like, were you bullied at all, or was theater cool?
well,
or-
there were the guys in the black leather jackets,
Right, oh, yeah.
same with their girlfriends. It just, hey, will you sign my chicks on? That sort of thing. They didn't have that accent, but
But we get it, right? No, we get it. That was a good picture you painted of that type of person.
And I didn't quite know what to do with that. I signed their chick's arm. I don't know.
Did as you were told, Don. When someone approaches you in a black leather jacket, just
No,
follow the
do
rules.
it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Follow
yeah.
the rules. So, but you were in the plays.
Yeah, and so a friend of Warren Bass was doing a one-act play, doing the Sandbox.
Okay.
You know, Albie's Sandbox.
Yeah, Edward Albie's Sandbox.
at American University, and he asked me to play Daddy.
You were daddy way back when.
I always told older people. I don't know. Again, I was a character actor from right at the beginning, and so I played Daddy. Mommy, it's cold. Don't be silly, Daddy. It's as warm as toast. Look at that nice young man over there. He does something.
Yeah.
Anyhow, we did it at the Washington, D.C. one-act play festival, and we won.
Wow.
And after college, I had this, I don't know whether it was Grapes of Wrath or something. Anyhow, I had this idea I was going to go off to Indianapolis and work in the wheat fields and see something that I had not seen in rural Virginia.
Well, this is the Midwestern boy right next to you.
In the countryside of Indiana.
Yeah, so I went to Indianapolis. I went out with a friend who was going to the Thespian Convention in Bloomington. So we drove out.
Yeah. That's where I went to university.
And I had almost no money. I don't know what I was thinking. But anyhow, I went there and I was there for a week. And finally, this woman from Falls Church, Virginia, in the unemployment office, said, "Go back to go to college. That's what you need to do."
Wow!
And so I went back, and even though it was late, I went to American University. I sat down with them. They remembered me from the play.
Oh my God, how cool!
And they actually created a little stipend for me.
Oh, how wonderful!
And et cetera, et cetera. And that was American University had a fabulous theater program.
And you were
No,
studying
yeah.
theater?
And I was studying.
Oh,
well,
nice.
I started studying music. But
Okay.
They didn't respond to me in the same way. I mean, I sang with them. I sang Every Valley from the Messiah and do all those sorts of things. I did work.
I'm
but
so
they
tempted to make you sing a few bars every time you mention one of these.
Every valley. Anyhow, I don't have that range anymore. But,
Still lovely.
but I was accepted really well in the theater department. So I did, I did theater there with F. Cole Strickland and just a wonderful group of people. And it's interesting how all of this stuff works, where it puts you, the synchronicity.
Where it puts you. Well, yeah, that's what you're talking about. It is
yeah,
the
I mean, when I grew up, I knew Cass Elliot, Mom and Cass, very well. She came to some of the things I wrote music for, summer reviews at the Lover Run Park, etc. She came.
How old
she
were you
loved
when you
it.
did that?
Oh, I was. I must have been 16.
I mean, I'm not going to let you gloss over that because that's
quite
a lot of us at 16. I was hanging out on the stoop.
Yeah.
That's impressive that you had this incredible gift.
But anyhow, so Cass and Goldie Hawn were both at American University, like my junior year, and they had there was a musical theater, tent theater that did the Northeast and whatever called Goober, Ford, and Gross. And they had regional auditions at American University. So I went and I sang Maria. And in retrospect, I think I sang it really well.
You probably did, but it's kind of against type.
Yeah, it was. But anyhow,
right?
And they said, thank you. And I'd seen the movie and I knew that was that. And I left. The next day, Goldie, who had also auditioned for them and ended up performing,
she got in.
Said, where were you? And I said, what do you mean? They said, thank you. And I left. She said, they wanted to see you dance. She said, I'm being called back. I'm going to New York. I said, well, I'm going with you too. I'm going to get in somehow. And
good for you.
So we got on a Greyhound bus together.
You and Goldie Hawn on a Greyhound bus. Thelma and Louise.
What a lovely, lovely.
Great.
Well, so was Cass. I mean, Cass was just, but anyhow, so we got on the Greyhound bus. We came to New York. Somehow she helped. Oh, there's the.
Okay.
Just a second. I think that's the.
Okay, so we need to tell you there's the national emergency alert happening today, and I didn't know where my phone
like
is.
the Russians are doing nuclear testing, so they're getting us prepared.
Right. There we go. That was it. It was painless. It was over, and now we're prepared.
But also, that was kind of what we grew up in.
We were talking about that.
Fear of
going under the desk.
Oh, yeah. As if putting your head underneath the desk is going to do anything at all. How ignorant.
That was duck and
cover.
Duck and cover. But I got to tell you,
you'll be safe from the nuclear
explosion. It does bother me a little bit that this is happening because my paranoid mind is making me think, what did they know that we don't know? They're telling us they're just having this test. Why?
But also for me, it kind of takes me back to that time of because I had no hope when I was growing up in Indiana. I remember one time seeing an airplane fly with the fuselage spilling behind, and I thought and wondering, is this it? Is
no,
and growing up where
there was a lot of paranoia.
Oh my God, we've all been triggered.
So you're on a bus with Goldie Hawn.
Well, so we got there. They didn't want to see me because I wasn't on the list, and Goldie said, well, they called. They called him. They wanted to see him. There must be a mistake. They saw me.
Oh, fabulous!
I sang "Standing on the Corner, watching all the girls go by," which was really lame, and it certainly wasn't Maria with all the high notes or whatever. And they said thank you, and that time they meant it. So I said, Goldie, what do I do? She says, well, go get the trades. I said, what are those? The trade papers. The trade
papers. Backstage every Thursday.
And show business.
Every Thursday.
So I did.
Yeah. I remember doing that.
I went and I sang Maria for Gateway Playhouse in Belport, Long Island.
That's a great playhouse, by
and they said, yes.
Yay!
Will you come and be an apprentice? So I went home and somehow between a dear friend and the admissions office at American University or whatever, we came up with I think it was $200 or something from room and board.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I went.
But how cool.
It was. And I started playing the leads. I played Will Parker in Oklahoma and whatever.
What a way to get your feet.
And then I went back until like 1969. At that point, 1969, I'd seen something on the what is the Long Island paper? Long Island, the Long Island paper about LaMaMa.
You found out about it on the Long Island paper. How funny is that?
Ellen Stewart and whatever. And I said, I really want to go there. It turns out this composer, Barbara Benary, may she rest in peace, a lovely, wonderful composer, was doing the music for Murat Saad. They didn't want to pay the royalties at Gateway Playhouse. So she was writing the original music for Murat Saad. And she asked me one day to sing. So I sang through it with her. She went back to her professors at Sarah Lawrence, Wilfred Leach, who did Pirates of Penzance and Edwin Drood on Broadway, and John Braswell. And they had me up to do a few things. And then they called me one day and they said, we're doing a show at LaMaMa. And I thought, oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at the synchronicity. And so I did it.
How you're supposed to be there, yeah.
And Clive Burns called us one of the gems of the American theater. We did something at the Performance Garage, did a run down there of The Only Jealousy of a Mare, an atonal opera by Barbara Benary, based on the William Butler Yeats play. And I played the disformed water spirits that came rising out of the bed.
A disformed spirit?
Yes.
As opposed to a well-formed spirit.
Well, I don't know.
Spirit. I love that.
And we did Stravinsky's Renard. We did it in the long johns with bowler hats, and I had a red comb on top and whatever with a big cock across. It was the cock and the cat and the goat. It was that old Russian.
So you played a cock,
and we tapped.
A tap dancing cock.
and
I've seen that before.
And the cat and the goat helped me to outmaneuver the fox. And finally, we ended up eating him. It was all
I love this.
It was all
very abstract.
It was very it was an anti-war statement or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But we had blood coming down.
Blood
bags coming down
at LaMaMa.
That's where
at LaMaMa,
of course,
and then at the Performance Garage. So and then we went touring, and we toured. We were in the Vieux Colombier.
But this was a production from Long Island.
Well,
right?
No, it was from Sarah Lawrence.
From Sarah Lawrence to LaMaMa, and then on tour.
And we went to the Vieux Colombier where we clos, No Exit. Sartre's No Exit was done. And we were called Les Baumes de LaMaMa because we danced, we sang, we played instruments, we did it all when at that point, either you danced or you sang or you acted or you didn't do all of them. So they were calling Les Baumes de LaMaMa. Everybody from the Comédie Française came. Ionesco came.
Wow.
I got to meet Ionesco. And
who had to be up there then?
Yeah, I mean, he was in his 70s probably. He was. I don't think he was old as I am now, but anyway, but he was there with looking quite frail or whatever, and he invited us to lunch.
Oh my goodness!
Ellen Stewart. I love Ellen. She was my second mother. Got me my apartment in the East Village in 1971.
You're still in?
Oh yeah, I'm still in.
Please.
Yeah. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. But anyhow, she thought it would be too much for them because of their age. And so she went instead.
Oh,
That's all right.
God
It was
bless,
lovely
know?
just meeting him because I idolized the theater of the absurd. I love
Wow.
that sort of dark stuff, the quaint, quirky stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
But you were lucky because you seem to be able to work in that area. And from what you're saying, you kind of went from thing to thing to thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They continue to open doors.
Right.
Then
One thing would open up the door for the other.
And the ETC company was funded by the Rockefeller Foundation and Guggenheim, until 1973 or 4.
When they stopped funding,
Yeah. Mel Howard, who produced Black and Blue and Tango Argentino on Broadway.
Broadway, right.
I ended up being I did Gisa Lamai from the Berliner Ensemble at the Village Gate. I did the lights, and I was the company manager for her, doing Brecht Weil.
Oh, wow.
It was fabulous. Yeah. But from that, I started doing company managing for all the Shingon Buddhist monks and the
my goodness.
and the National Ballet of Spain with
was
Mel
this in
Howard.
Europe?
All over Europe and
my
South
goodness.
America.
Yeah,
and
obviously
all
you and Mel Howard were quite a team, and you had the flexibility to be able to do this too.
What a lovely man, and
wow,
and he and his wife Ruth have been the most supportive of people. They've come to everything that I do. They're coming to the show I'm doing here at Pangea.
So, as company manager, that you've seen the world.
I've seen the world. Mainland China.
Oh my goodness.
Bali. I had an import business from Bali for a while.
I'm stopping you. This is look at the life you've had. I mean,
and we're not even halfway there.
Right, we're not even halfway there. But the fact that you're a performer in all different aspects of performance, but then you become a company manager, the flexibility, there's a lot of people that do one thing. You had the flexibility, and it seems you took a lot of joy out of being a company manager. I can tell.
Oh, I did. No,
it
was wonderful.
But that's also a business mind. You've got to know, you've got to understand.
Well, it taught me something about organization and whatever.
Absolutely.
I had to do all of the hotel reservations, get everybody, get everybody paid, keep track of everything. It's a lot of it. But and in the middle of that, when I wasn't doing that, then I was doing my own shows at LaMaMa or Theater for the New City, Ellen and Crystal Field. Crystal has been
timeless. Another person who is timeless.
Oh no, the support that she has given me and my love is unbounded for
I love that. Right.
Yeah.
Unbounded love for Crystal Field. And we're going to be there tomorrow night seeing Twisted there. But
I'm going Friday.
And you're going to go Friday. And I did the Lower East Side Festival there. A moment. I just love Theater for the New City. And I
do too.
Shout out, because the fact that they have survived, God, the fact that you've survived, the fact that any of us are here is really, think about it, really amazing. But that theater has been, as we've watched theaters close down. And Lord knows the pandemic was the icing on the cake for theaters.
They were very lucky because they were able to sell the air rights above for the big condos that are on top of it. Good.
So
that really.
All right, there you go.
That's good business.
I never knew, Don. I never knew.
That's
so that is good business.
Mm-hmm.
So you were saying when you were in Bali started your own business.
Yeah.
Well, what kind of business?
Okay. Well, here I have to tell you the whole story.
Yeah, we need the whole
story. In 1988, 1988, Mel came to me. I had not worked for him for a bit as a company manager, and whenever he came to see a show, and he said, "Do you want to go out on the road with this company?" And I said, "A Balinese company." I said, "Okay." I get a call one day from his office manager, and he says, "Well, it looks like you're going to Bali."
Such terrible news.
And I said, "Well, why is that?" There were no phones or faxes in Piliatan, that's right outside of Ubud, the artistic center there. Mm-hmm. And they were doing a master lighting plot for Town Hall, where we were doing this international series. And it was cheaper to put me on a plane than to take down all the lights from the previous production and put up new lights and take them down and put up new lights at the end of our show. They wanted to do a master lighting plot that would serve everybody.
Goodness.
So it was cheaper to put me with a video camera
on
a plane to go there and film what they were doing.
That's actually quite smart. Yeah. So that is really savvy thinking.
I heard of Bali. I fell in love.
Of course.
It's an island of untold mystery, spiritual. I shiver.
I've heard that from a lot of people.
Extraordinary things happen there. I've had some very weird,
incredibly spiritual things.
And so I saw all of this handicraft.
Yeah.
These wonderful painted trays and the jewelry.
Well, the carved wood and the jewelry. Beautiful.
All of this stuff. And I said, I want to bring that to the U.S. because I knew how expensive it was here.
Right.
The few shops that carried it.
It's so inexpensive.
It was like 3,000% markup.
I know.
Wow.
I know, it's crazy.
Now, in getting the things here, and because they don't have a standard of doing it one size, it would come in different. When we finally did it, the wood carvings would come that big or that big. So I had to go back.
Right.
I went 7 times.
Oh my goodness!
Over 4 years to do quality control.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, it was just wonderful. I got taken by the prince, who he had been the artistic director of the Balinese dancers and musicians that I toured, and so he hosted. He actually was my agent there, and making sure that everything.
Thank you, shabby Todd.
No,
but
he took me to very, very private ceremonies.
Oh my goodness!
In these little villages and whatever.
How cool!
It was really, really extraordinary.
Don, what did you see that you couldn't explain? You could just tell us one story, because I know you did.
Well, there were near the end of it. I mean, there were all sorts of stories of people who had stolen statuary from some of the
and didn't live to tell about it.
No, took it home and got very sick, and the local shaman said, put it back. And it didn't even, nobody had said anything about taking it. And this friend of the guy that was very, very gravely ill took it back to the temple, and the guy recovered right then.
Yep.
The last night I was in Bali before Eric and I, my present partner.
You're very handsome partner.
Oh, thank you. The last night before I went as the business, I said to Talleyrand, the prince, I said, I have lost my spiritual connection with this, with the island. I said, in doing all this business, I have not been able to get it.
Yeah.
So I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning that night. I went outside and I hear this. Oh. At the distance. It's all over the place.
Oh my goodness.
And I went to Talleyrand the next day. I said, I woke up at 3 o'clock this morning. Something drew me back out onto the veranda. And I said, what was it? He said, oh, those were the local banyas, the communities practicing for the black magic competition. And let's go back to the tour. The company came into LA. We had to take a plane from LA to San Francisco, change another plane to go to Eugene, Oregon. Right. We had our first performance. We got all on the plane, all of their massive things, the big barong animals that they, that they wear, and the mat, all these things that they had, all of their everything got on the plane in Los Angeles. And we're on the plane, and I see all the stuff roll up to the plane, and half of it went on, and half of it rolled away.
Oh,
wow.
And we had a performance that night
Wow.
in Eugene, Oregon.
Oh my God.
I was hysterical.
Now, were you the company manager
I was
at that
the
time?
company
Oh, Lord
Yeah,
have
so
mercy.
was I. Yeah, I know, Tim. That's bad.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
And
Wow.
Caloran said, "It's okay."
Mm-hmm.
We got there. In Eugene, Oregon, they didn't know the tradition all that well.
Right,
course,
exactly.
So rather than the mask, they used makeup.
There you go. Yeah.
They loved it in Eugene, Oregon. The next day, we in the flight that was supposed to take us back to San Francisco, where we were going to play Berkeley the next night or the night after. We got there, and all of the stuff that we had, the plane was so small, could not fit into the plane. So we had to break down the crates that were carrying this big barong thing and put it in that way. We got all the way back. We got reunited with all the other stuff and were able to do the full performance at Berkeley where they knew.
Where they were, right, when
Yes,
they
knew no makeup on that one.
Right. So we're talking about serendipity here.
Yeah.
We're talking about
absolutely
something beyond our understanding. And he knew.
Yeah.
He was no, it was.
I love
Did you,
that.
are you in touch with the prince?
He passed away.
But were you in touch with him
when
until
Eric and I went back, we stayed at the homestay.
Nice.
You did a homestay.
Actually, yeah, and actually, I helped coach him. He was auditioning for Eat, Pray, and Love, the movie.
Yeah.
He did not get the part.
Oh.
But anyhow,
it was filmed there, though. I saw it.
But we had a lovely reunion. I got to tell him how much he meant to me and whatever. Nice. And I was able to introduce him to Eric, and he got a driver, and we went all over the island and whatever. And even they do not think of death in the same way.
Absolutely not.
They have cremations.
Yeah.
And they take the body and they burn it. And a dear a friend there sent a videotape of the cremation for it, and it's a celebration because they are being reunited with their spiritual.
Well, they totally right. That's a total belief, and we don't know. Maybe it is that way. We don't know.
No, we don't.
We don't know. Absolutely. None of us have been there yet, but maybe it is that way.
I have a piece that I've just written that I'm adding to my
your
show that basically says, I would rather live with the idea that we go on.
Oh, I totally believe that,
live
John.
life with that kind of fervor and faith.
Yeah.
And have everything go black at the end. Then live my life thinking this is it, and suddenly awaken to eternity.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So that's the way they thought. Yeah.
Now our guest on If These Walls Could Talk, Don Arrington, he had mentioned a show which is going to be here at Pangea.
Yes.
I mean, he's got a fascinating life. There's so much more. But I think we should show a video clip that we have just to kind of take a quick break and inform the audience of exactly who Don is.
And here's John.
Hotel rooms across the world, looking up at a roof, it isn't the sky. See without seeing, knowing they are there, knowing they are there. knowing it will come when it can't. Always being what you are and never what you meant at the start. Always
Yes.
Yay.
Hauntingly beautiful.
Thank you.
Don
Don,
Arrington.
the new show, Enough of the Blues, will be here October 14th and October 27th at Pangea.
And
You can go online and get tickets and hear more of that. And
I love some of your characters in it.
yeah,
Oh, thank you.
doing-
Yeah.
Can you tell us about
Yeah.
maybe a couple of them?
the
Well,
characters.
there is the last little kid on the block whose best friend, who was the next to the last little kid on the block, went off to Omaha with her parents, and this little girl's mother won't let her go, and her Barbie is very upset about it, and she wants her parents dead.
Oh.
So the little girl's going to punish the Barbie, of course, it's the little girl who's thinking these thoughts.
Yes,
right. Not
She's
the
going to
Barbie.
need an extra session with Dr. Damien. And I play Lady Liberty, who is a street queen, and who's honey, what did the paper say? And I play a terrible a snob in the penthouse, reviewing Devastation from the penthouse, and I play a junkie.
Yes.
Strung out junkie.
I love it.
These are New York characters.
Yeah,
yes,
these are all
absolutely.
New York
I
characters.
describe these as the dear, queer, and particular family
Dear
I
and
have
queer.
inherited, that somehow was given to me. I don't know quite how the spark is given to you, but I feel like when I'm really working and creating,
Right.
that I am a vessel.
Yes.
Yeah,
through
that's
which it
exactly
has
right.
come. And some
Absolutely.
things I have written, and I really had no idea that I had done it until it was finished. I was that far. I love that feeling.
It's interesting. I got that from John Kelly as well.
Mm.
It just like comes in and it starts to happen.
It's
and
a gift.
It's
a gift to you.
It
Yes.
is a gift.
Now
that you can share. Yeah.
Now to see the show, it's October 14th and October 27th.
Right.
Just go to
Sure.
PangeaNYC.com and get your tickets.
Yeah.
So
and I want to ask you, tell me what Louisa Bradshaw does in the show.
Yeah.
Because it's this gruesome twosome.
Yeah. Well, Louisa is wonderful. She, I auditioned Louisa in 2010 when we did a show at the Theater for the New City called "It's This Ain't It," and she is doing reprising some of the stuff that she did in that show. She does the harmonies, and she does a duet solo in the city.
Oh, cool.
With me, and she does Burlesque Has Got to Come Back. She plays a dilapidated
Dilapidated burlesque
queen, Flame Forever, and she also plays an alcoholic recluse and if this ain't it, she's holed up in her apartment with the liquor deliveries coming, and she's on unemployment, and she's beside her. It's sort of a Judy Canova character, you know.
No, these are all great New York characters,
Yeah.
though, by the way, because we all know people like
Oh
this.
no, well that's
They're
what I
based
say.
on, the reality.
That's what I
Everyone's
say. I've
reality.
inherited them just by being around and seeing people. They're all based on people that I know or have known or know of.
Right.
Well, once again, you've been here in New York since the 70s in the East Village,
Right.
which the 70s and 80s and into the 90s in the East Village were all kinds of characters.
Mm.
And it not just anyone could survive the East Village at that time. But and then especially you add in the 80s the element
Absolutely.
of the AIDS epidemic and the entertainment in the entertainers in the East Village at that time, these raw creative people,
all of a sudden
just,
people
yeah,
were like
very
casting
very much impacted.
all
Yeah.
around you. How did you continue to create with, because of your age?
Oh.
I know the amount of tremendous loss
Mhm.
you have been through.
Well,
How does one create under those conditions?
It really was. I mean, beyond the terrible loss of life and friends and whatever, people would call me up and say, "You want to do my show at LaMaMa? You want to do this? You want to do that? We're doing a children's record. Do you want to record?" And one by one, they were gone.
Wow.
Bill Elliott, who wrote the music for Corfax that won the Obie, I was in that as well. We took it to Europe or whatever. Had a mysterious disease in 1978 when I was with my ex-wife. We had just started going together, and we were not even married yet. I was with her for 10 years. But anyhow, I remember she fixed a soup for him and took it over to him because he was not feeling well. They had no idea.
They had no idea.
And it was one of the first cases of
Wow.
AIDS. When my marriage with Carmen came to an end, within 6 months, I found a partner, Yoshi, who was Japanese American, and we were together 7 years, and he was always very uncomfortable with the whole question about AIDS or whatever. And I said, let's get tested, and we did, and I was negative and he was positive.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
And-
I mean that.
And I was there in 1995 when at 35 years of age,
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, I'm so
he
sorry.
passed away with all of his family, who were all doctors.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
Right.
his
And
sisters
nobody could
and-
save him because nobody could save anybody.
And he
We
was
didn't have
just prior to
the cocktails.
cocktail.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
Anyhow, so but as far as the artistic community was concerned, it was devastating.
Yeah.
We lost so much talent, so much vitality. Well, I mean, we were a close-knit community.
Exactly.
We went to everybody else's beat. We were excited for other people,
Right.
and didn't mind if they borrowed a little something from us, and we could just
Right, because it was a
Right,
totally
right.
supportive situation.
Yeah, and suddenly, well, gradually, not suddenly, but gradually, it was gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
And again, today's society just doesn't understand the depth of that time where people would be,
Right.
oh, let's create something. Let's try this. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And you try it. I mean,
Right.
it was so experimental, and just the creativity. There was no
But
limit.
It
no
just
limit.
flowed. To Tim's point, it just flowed. And what you said, the phone went, hey, do you want to work on this? Hey, do you want to work on that? Half the time now you feel like you're milking a cow to make something happen. And Tim and I are both big believers in bringing people together and working with our friends and all of that. But, I have days where I just feel completely depleted trying to make things happen. It just, things flowed much easier then.
Yes. And before the internet, I mean,
Yeah,
word,
right, exactly.
word on the street.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Right.
we put up flyers on
The
posters
posters all over.
We had last week Our guest.
Our guest last week.
Yeah,
oh,
he had
boy.
made a book out of all of the
David
flyers.
Kennerly.
David Kennerly.
Yeah, who you know, his beautiful book came out. It's called Getting In. It was about
the nightclub scene.
And it
all
was
that.
a lot of the people we know, their
Right,
pictures on those flyers and who they were on the back. I mean, it was just such an incredible time. The value that they had, the value of those flyers, what it said about the time.
But like you said, the flyers, you put the flyers up on the street, and that's how people would find out and hear about it and go see the show.
Right.
That was the internet.
Yeah.
See, I'm not sure all of the internet. Yes, we can get stuff out a lot quicker. We all use it like crazy for our shows. But at the end of the day, I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure it works better because I still am able to get people. Because I'll do the text or I'll do the phone call. And because bombarding people on the internet with email and Facebook and all of that, we have to do it. I get it. But at the end of the day, if you're trying to fill a room with 75 people, 75 calls might do it just as good. It's harder.
No, I try to do as much in person as I can.
Yeah, that's the point.
Beyond that, I like to send out a private message. With more than just here's my show,
right?
I see that you're doing this, and we're coming to see you. But I hope you recovered from whatever you're, all of those things, that you do to care. So I mean, because you do care still about the community. You may not see people in the same way that you did back then, but they're still the community.
I totally agree.
I'm there are still many people down here that go way back with Chris Tanner and John Kelly and Augusto Machado. They're just
incredible. That's exactly right. I go to things at Howell when I can, and you see a lot of the people that come there. But the thing is that I don't like about New York, I'm not a pocket person. I cross through all different kinds of people. It's very pocketed. Lower East Side and Studio 54 people. Tim and I were at an amazing party given for Connie Fleming by Michael Musto. It was what I called a crossover party. You had people from the Studio 54 scene, the Lower East Side scene, the Brooklyn scene, a whole mix of ages. I can't tell you when I last went to something like that. And that, to me, that's what now needs to be.
I agree.
We got to all shake it up to the best of our ability.
Right. Yeah. I wish we were a little bit more like the old bar, the bar. It was a center for. It was not just a gay bar. It was a bar for everybody.
Thank you. Yeah. Right.
Every walk of life, people would come from the west side. They come from down, down, and it was everybody was welcome,
right?
And we fed each other in a way by knowing each other and the conversations, the experiences we had together.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, listen, all we can do now, that's why we do the show. We keep, paying it forward. You were going to tell me a story because you had Candy Darling and Holly Woodlawn.
Now I'll tell you, I mean, in those days I drank so much and did so many drugs.
Did it really happen?
I had to have my friend Dawn Didowick, who's married to Harry Groner, and I went to a party back in the 70s.
We went to a marvelous party.
Estelle was there, and Jackie Curtis was there, and Holly Woodlawn, Candy Darling. And somehow at the end of the evening, I invited Candy and Jackie and Holly back to my place to have something to eat. And they crashed on the floor that night. I really had to go back. I said, Dawn, did that really happen?
Wow, that's so great.
And
great
I mean,
story.
I would see Holly every now and then. Holly moved to the West Coast and whatever, and Jackie would always say, "Hi, David." I said, "No, my name is Don." And he'd say, "You look like a David." So and I mean, Candy Darling was one of the most gorgeous women I have ever seen. She was They were all fabulous. What wonderful characters.
Yeah.
Wonderful light and spirit.
Right.
Wow. I mean, you have just got some amazing
right?
experiences.
I'm very grateful for
And
the
you've also-
variety.
Yeah.
And you've also had such an illustrious career. What can you tell us about maybe a couple of your favorite either performances or characters or trips, maybe as a company manager or something, like maybe just share a couple of wonderful memories that you enjoyed?
Well, I have to say this last show that I did, we did a piece called On the Block, which was basically about my block.
Your hood.
On
Your
East 2nd Street
Right.
between 1st and 2nd Avenue that I wrote after Yoshi had passed away. I came back to New York and I was feeling very alone and whatever. I just sat down and I wrote this song about my block.
Wow.
And we did it in the late 90s. And then we came here, we did it at Pangea. And it was very successful. People loved it. And so we were coming back. We were supposed to open on the 13th of March 2020 for 4 Fridays. That's the day everything closed down because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So my partner was in that Camille Tabaldio, wonderful performer, fabulous. I loved her, but was somewhat reticent about doing the show because of the pandemic.
Right.
I mean, I found out later when I did Had Enough of the Blues and she came to see it that she was ready to do it again, and so perhaps we'll bring back On the Block again.
Okay.
But in doing it, in doing Had Enough of the Blues, I looked over the entire career of my music because it's I did pop stuff, I did operatic stuff, I did
look at what you've done. Look at what you've done.
Weird, quirky, Spike
Musical
Jones
theater,
kind of
classical,
stuff, Tom Lehrer, note count. Anyhow, and I got a chance to listen. I had a cassette tape, and from 1973.
Oh wow!
And I hadn't listened to it since then. And we were improvising on a theme that, I wrote it for a play that got canceled on the first rehearsal, and so
it happens.
The theme never got used. I'm using it in my newest song here.
Cool.
But anyhow, I put it in the tape player, this tape, and it started eating it. So I had to pull it out, and it broke. But I know enough to fix it with Scotch tape.
The old days. No, you used to be able to
You're
do that.
old school. I love it.
But I love that you're using a tape.
Yeah. And I went to Best Buy. I got a boom box.
Yeah.
John has said he's moved into now.
And we were improvising on this theme. Santiago, Kathmandu. And I got to hear myself at 29.
Wow.
I met myself at 29.
Wow.
And then in doing all of these numbers from 1963 to 2023, and being able to do it for some of the people that I worked with since 1963 in this room in Pangea, in York, to a packed house, we were turning people away, was one of the sweetest things that I can imagine.
God, that's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm glad to be able to share it with more people now.
Oh, Don, that's wonderful.
I'm looking forward. I'm coming on the 27th. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm excited. I've never seen you perform. Again, you came in on that pandemic wave for me.
Right.
That was serendipity too. All of this is supposed to be happening right now.
That's right. Just go with the flow.
So go with the flow. Don, I have a very personal question I've been holding off asking you.
Yes.
How do you call yourself a gardener when you live in a New York apartment? Don said he's a gardener. I want to know how. Tell me what you're growing.
It's it keeps me active. And
Where are you gardening though?
all over. I have rooftops all over
Love
Manhattan.
that. Love that.
I-
Let's hear it for
Sweet.
people that do that.
And it turns out I thought of it as sort of a, something to give a little cream so we could go off to Cancun, and then et cetera, et cetera. And but it has turned into I've designed them and
Fabulous.
and put them in,
Right.
and so I mean I have a marble rooftop bar over in the meatpacking district
Sweet.
that I designed, and I have one over here on Great Jones Street that I designed. Backyards in Brooklyn,
I love that.
all over,
Oh,
Cool,
all
isn't
over
it?
all over the boroughs. And I get to meet a lot of people, and they come to my shows too.
Yeah,
And
nice.
It's very, very nice, and it gets me out there. There's something about breathing in the soil. I came from gardeners.
Mhm.
Okay, that's that
My
connection.
grandfather had a half an acre of vegetables.
Uh-huh.
So grew
He
vegetables,
he
yeah.
came from a farm, and when he moved to our little hilltop in McLean, he had an acre in vegetables,
And he grew
fruit
stuff,
trees,
yeah.
berry vines.
Whole thing on a
And we
half an
had-
acre.
And we had in our backyard, we had an acre, and we had our own vegetable garden that I
Mhm.
helped grow when I was growing up. And so it was just sort of natural. And for many years, until the new landlords made us take it down, I had a Garden of Eden up on the roof above my
Oh, you're
apartment.
kidding me.
No, we still have some things up there in
Uh-huh.
a hammock between the buildings or whatever, but it's not quite the same.
Yeah.
But it gave me a lot more experience.
Right.
And I did the garden in front of Middle Collegiate Church
Oh,
as
you're
a
kidding.
devotion.
That was you. Wow.
And it was Stewardship Sunday, and I came to the church. I've been coming for a while, and I had this feeling like I was being talked to. I needed to do something, and I walked back and forth, and I finally ended up in front of this. It was the rubble and one big tree.
Now this was after the fire.
No, this
No?
was before
Oh,
the
okay.
fire.
Before the
In
fire, yeah.
2010.
Okay.
And I looked at this rubble and this one tree, and I saw a garden.
Oh,
And
That's
I
amazing.
I
That's
walked
a very
in. I
spiritual
walked in
thing.
and I said, Jackie Lewis, our wonderful pastor there. I said, I am, I want to give a garden to the church,
wow.
and so I did.
Wow.
I did, and it was fun. It was beautiful up until 2020,
Until
10
the fire,
years.
yeah.
But it also taught me a great deal that I did not know. It's always a learning experience. There's always
Absolutely.
more to know
Right.
with it. But and it is still there. I don't know what happens because we had the fire in 2020, in December 2020.
Right, but maybe when they get it together again, you'll come back and be
but
able to.
we'll see how
do
it works.
how it
if
comes
actually have the
together.
garden, but
What a
the
wonderful
garden survived. The garden survived.
Wow, what a wonderful
Yeah.
contribution.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
And it taught me something really important. We had lost the garden on our roof, and it felt like a terrible loss. But when we did, I took all of the organic soil that we had made out of our scraps and all of that,
Mhm.
all the perennial plants, the big pieces of quartz from my backyard in Virginia that I had brought up,
Mhm.
and I put it in the garden.
Oh,
The garden
nice.
at the church, and the
Oh,
garden
that is amazing.
and the garden grew 3 times as big as it had been.
Oh,
Right.
So
It
and
meant
so,
to be,
so
right?
the
That's
garden
the story.
that was our personal delight
Right.
Yes.
then became, and I came to realize
A
as
delight
I
for
worked there and
everybody.
people would
Yeah,
stop and
everyone
talk,
would come
that
by.
it was something that people I will never ever meet could appreciate.
Absolutely. You've touched
and you
their
and,
lives.
and you know what? You were able to see
Absolutely.
that. You
That's
have that
beautiful.
vision.
Yeah.
How
Mhm.
incredible.
Well, no, thank you.
yeah, really.
That because it is about what you see.
Mm-hmm.
It is about what you.
It's also, you said something about the way it smells, the soil smells.
Oh,
I have a
yeah.
garden in my
Yeah.
house in Pennsylvania, but I've got plants in my apartment here, and I do the tree pits in front of my building in the city.
Yeah, it's still
It's that smell. It's
Mhm.
organic. It's life, and you have to take it in and connect with it.
They actually say that what you are taking in with each breath has a really beneficial effect
I
on,
can,
on your
I can,
body.
yeah, right,
I agree.
Tim,
I
can
agree. That's
Totally,
nature.
totally
Yeah,
believe
yeah.
it.
But what a lovely contribution to the
Yeah, thank
community
you,
that
really.
you did there. That's
Well,
that's
no,
absolutely
and
wonderful.
it was a gift to me to be able,
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
But you see, it's the one door closing, another one
Yeah,
opening,
right.
because I
Absolutely.
would have been feeling so terrible about what happened on the roof. There,
Yeah.
obviously, you
Right.
had put your
Well,
heart
you-
and soul.
Oh
into
no,
it.
I was devastated.
Right.
And
But
then,
look.
and then to come to that, it was like,
Oh,
oh,
wow.
all right,
Yeah,
thank
right.
you.
Yeah,
Right.
There was a
exactly.
bigger plan for
There
you.
was a
Don,
bigger
Absolutely.
plan.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you have lived your life through being open to synchronicity
Right.
and
Oh,
open
yeah.
to opportunities that are brought to you,
Mhm.
and that's wonderful. That's,
You know, one more thing about the synchronicity. There is a lady, Patricia Post. I don't know where she is now. But it's about delay. What happens in your life? People get so upset because they're delayed or it takes longer than they think.
I'm very delayed right now, and I'm listening to you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very delayed. I am delayed, but I understand what you're saying.
I was uptown and I went into the store. I had to check my bags. And I came out and I went to this all the way to the subway. I realized I had left one of the bags there. I had to go back. There had been a woman that I had seen on the streets collecting bottles, Patricia Post. And she was very interesting to me. And as when because of the delay, when I got off the subway, I had been wanting to talk to her. When I got to 2nd Avenue and 2nd Street, there she was. If I had, I
She
would
was
have
supposed to be there at that time.
And I found out. She said, "You want to see my garden?" I said, "Oh, I thought she lived in the garden, you know, because she was homeless."
Right.
No, she lived in the Section 8 housing across on Second Street and 2nd Avenue, and so that's pretty. I took her to lunch.
Oh,
at
what a
Vaselka.
beautiful! Oh my God!
And it turns out that she had worked in some of the same dinner theaters I had worked with in the 60s.
Oh my goodness!
In the very physical buildings. We had been in the same. She became very dear. Then she went to Boston, and I don't know whatever happened to her because she chose to sleep on the streets because she didn't think it was safe in the housing that she was in.
Yeah.
And so, if anybody knows where Patricia Post is, I would love to know.
Well, you're putting it out there, Don. You know,
absolutely.
What incredible story.
Oh my goodness, so many incredible
Yeah,
stories.
really.
I'm so grateful to you, Don.
Thank you.
Don Arrington, right here. Now people can find out more about you. The best way is Facebook, right?
Facebook.
Just follow you on Facebook.
Yeah, Don Arrington, ARRINGTON. Oh, there you are.
Thank you,
On
Cameron.
Facebook. Thank you. And yeah, that's where you'll find all of my stuff.
And you can find the rest of Don's stuff on stage here at Pangea, October 14th and October 27th, along with Louisa Bradshaw. Be there or be square. I will be here on the 27th. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah,
and get your tickets. Go online.
Do because we were turning away people in March. I'd hate for anybody to come and not be able to.
So get your tickets at PangeaNYC.com.
Yay!
Yes. Well, Don, thank you so very much.
This was a delight.
Wonderful.
Fabulous.
You're a delight.
We need to have you back to hear some more stories.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
There'll be more. Believe me.
Oh, yeah. I'm hoping. I'm hoping there a
There's
lot
more.
more. My mother's mother lived to be 101.
my
My father's father lived to 94. I've maybe a few more years.
It's all just ahead of Don.
Oh, well,
Thank you
Don
so much.
Arrington, thank you so very much. We
Thank
so
you.
appreciate it.
Lovely.
Mwah.
All right. And thank you to our audience for tuning in today. And we'll be back next week.
Yep.
Have a good one. Bye-bye, everybody.
Yes.